welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm extremely gassy. I've been laying on the couch farting for like 2 hours. I feel so bad. I always just tell everybody like I have an iron stomach because I do. Generally, I eat whatever I want as much as I want. But I just went overboard today. We were at the pool with Chad actually today, and we're at the Hyatt. You ever been in the Hyatt over in the Bay, Bobby? Mission Bay.
Oh, Mission Bay? No.
Yeah, it's really nice because it has like big slides for the kids, and it's like a resort thing. Anyway, so I ordered the pulled pork sandwich, which is giant, and then a seagull was picking at Anna's poke bowl, so she didn't want that, so I finished her poke bowl, and then the kids didn't finish their chicken nuggets, so I finished that, and yeah, I was in pain for a couple hours there, but I think I got it all out just for you, Bobby. So I think we're okay.
Oh, wonderful. This is a very small room that we're in. So.
It is. It is. Have you ever had a complaint? Like, have you ever smelled me?
I mean, when it was you, me, and Ray, and Chi, like...
There'd be times?
There would be times, man. Yeah. There were a couple of times. I'm sure there were episodes where it came up, like, on episode, like, who did that?
I think there was one or two, yeah.
All right.
So, farts.
So it should be obvious by now, but we do not have Days and Nick on this episode. They both have things going on. They've got lives outside of this podcast, apparently. So I guess that's normal for being as young as they are. But
how lame.
They will not be joining us today, unfortunately, but that's okay. You got Bobby and Emilio here to carry the show in the brand new year.
Every once in a while, Bobby, on... Was it Spotify? I don't know. One of the apps that I listened to this podcast. Why was it? I don't know why. Anyway, sometimes I'd finish an episode of our podcast, a current one, and it would just jump to an old one, like a really old one. And every once in a while, I get to like listen to one. And I was listening to. There was a point where it was just me and you, and it was getting not stale, but it was getting like we didn't have enough content because it was just me and you. So we started talking about movies and like TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
We were so excited, dude. You were like talking about this fucking movie and stuff. It was probably right before we decided to do the popcorn show. What's it called?
Oh, Movies on the DL.
Yeah, Movies on the DL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember those times. That was before Amanda joined us, and it was right after Ray had left us, and it was just the two of us for a while. So, yeah, we were really concerned. Guys, this show came dangerously close to just being completely rebranded. I think the name that we had, like the front runner, was What's the Dealio with Bobby and Emilio. And it was just going to be a show about us talking about a bunch of random things. Guys, it could have been bad.
Yeah.
It was, thank God that didn't happen.
And then more recently, it was very close. We almost, we were talking about changing it to Pixel Shit Show or the Shit Show.
Well, that was wasn't that the band name supposed to be?
I don't know. I thought we're going to rebrand the whole thing, but who knows? No. We don't even know what we're called. Let's talk about some video games.
Yep.
How do you want to do this, Bobby?
Wait. Let's go over some of the project shit show. Hotline Random. I mean, there's a gold mine here, guys. Come on.
Yeah, okay. We had a bunch.
So these
are
the names that we were considering renaming the podcast when we were going to rebrand.
82 Strikes.
Ooh, I like it.
The Drinker and the Thinker. Oh, come on.
So good. But where would we be now, dude? Where would we be now without the drinking?
Yeah, I don't know. Just two thinkers, I guess. You know?
The Blinker and the Thinker. I'm just sitting
The Blinker and the Thinker. Couch potatoes and computer chairs. I think you're selling us a little short there, Bobby. I think some of these are pretty good.
Pixel Party?
Young hot idiots.
Ooh.
Dude.
What?
So good. All work and some play. Distracted gamers. Media junkies, and What's the Dealio with Bobby and Emilio. So good.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well.
Because DL Gaming, I mean, come on. It seems like two idiots that had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's been a problem since we started this. Like, we were never happy with the name. We were just like, let's just go with it so we can get this thing started.
Yeah. We'll at some point, 9 years from now, we'll come up with something awesome. And we'll change it. Never happened.
All right, but we should talk about some video games here. So you've got a lot on your radar, so I'll let you go first.
All right, thanks. We've talked about, I think, everything on here almost, but I got them all recently for Christmas presents. So I hopefully will be playing them shortly. Midnight Suns, I did not get as a Christmas present, but I gave it as a Christmas present to John, JP Diddy on Discord. And I always remember, it was either, I think it was Married with Children, where he gives his wife a bowling ball, knowing damn well she doesn't bowl, and knowing that he would end up having playing it himself.
Right.
Or
Married
use
with
it.
Children. That's a very famous Simpsons episode.
Is it Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay, it was either that or Simpsons. And that's how I feel when I give things like this, because I have access to his account, so I'm going to play it myself as well. This is a Marvel game. I don't know what the whole Midnight Sun storyline is. I'm sure it happened in comic books. They're all dressed in yellow. There's a bunch of characters that don't usually go together. They're all fighting together. Wolverine with a lot of Avenger characters. I don't know. I don't know what the story is. So hopefully the story is good if it was adapted correctly.
Avengers or X-Men?
Well, it's both. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
It's like a mix of both. And what's his name? Ghost Rider's in there too. So yeah, it's a big mix.
Yeah, and the big thing is it's by Firaxis Games, the
Yes.
company that made the XCOM games.
Yeah. And, the first week it came out, people were complaining about it. And then, some people, I've seen some places that are trying to put it in Game of the Year contention, but it just came out too late in the year. So I don't know. If it's by Firaxis, at least I know for sure the mechanics are going to be good. Of all the comic book stories, why did they adapt this one? It must have had some merit. So yeah, I'm excited to play it out. Probably most excited to play this one.
And this is only single player.
Yeah, and you know what happened is the winter sale started, right? And this did not go on sale. And then I don't know how this happened, but maybe 3 days into the sale, I was like, fuck, it's not on sale. I'm just going to buy it. Next day, it goes on sale for fucking like 30% off. It's $40. So, it went from $59.99 to $40.
Can you return games that you bought for other people?
I don't know how
think
that
you
works.
can.
I mean, I don't care at this point, but yeah, it's shitty.
Hmm.
Remember, nobody listening to this podcast probably doesn't remember this, but sales used to be crazy, especially the summer sale, where they'd be lightning deals, and then there'd be all kinds of
the
stuff.
flash sales that would last like 8 hours or 4 to 8 hours. So you had to constantly be checking. Like you were always on Steam checking like what's on the flash sale. And it was nothing that like came out very recently. It was always kind of the older games, so the deals were insane.
Yeah, they'd be really good deals.
Yeah.
I wonder why they got rid of that. But anyway, I don't even know to keep checking for stuff like this. Like I thought everything goes on day one of the sale. I didn't know that more things, or maybe they decided mid-sale.
I didn't realize that the sale changed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's one. Amanda bought me a Killsquad, which is a twin-stick shooter hack and slash co-op, 4-player co-op. All those things check all the boxes I love. So I've had it on my wish list. What's funny is to come Christmas time, I went to Amanda's wish list, and she had so many things. Like I went to buy Bobby something, and he had like very little. You had like 5 things, dude.
Now 4.
Like now 4, right? It was very hard to choose one. I think a couple of them weren't even out yet, so it was very hard.
Well, most of them, on my wish list, I use it just to keep track of games that haven't come out yet, so I get notified when they do come out. I found that when I put games on my wish list that I want to buy and they're out, like, dude, I'm an adult. I can just buy it now. Like, I'm never going to buy it. It's just going to sit on my wish list forever and ever. Like, I could wait for a sale, but then it goes on sale and I don't buy it anyway. So
I strongly disagree. I think it's like you want a game, but you don't want it $20 amount. You want it $10 amount. So
basically,
you
use it in case a sale comes around. Well, what I found out is me personally, I don't even buy it when it's on sale. So, I just use my wish list now as a way to keep track of when games come out.
I think you can click on follow, right? And then you would get but you might miss that.
I don't know what that follow button does. I've done it before, and I didn't really notice anything, but maybe it shows up in your activity feed on Steam, but I don't know.
Chris, can you find out what that follow button does for us?
I think you're supposed to get updates of when the game has, obviously when it releases, but also when it has major updates or
Yeah,
like
I think
messages
that's what it
from the
is. But
developers.
where does that go?
I think it's in your activity feed, which nobody really checks on Steam. I always felt that Steam had a big opportunity to do some sort of social networking thing, but never really capitalized on it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Players can choose to follow your game by selecting the option from your store. Allows news and events to appear in the player's feed and also in the Steam News Hub. Does anyone use the Steam News feed or hub?
Well-
I barely ever go there.
If you go to your library, your feed is at the very top as like a ticker bar at the top, right?
I
Pretty
don't
sure.
think that's in the library. I think that's on your home page. There's a place somewhere where you get like a
Try it, Chris. Go to your library, and then look at the very top bar. I think that's where it's a very thin top bar at the very top.
yeah. And does it happen on the when you access it through the web, or does it happen just through the client?
Just through the client.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That top thing is a news bar. I've got all sorts of stuff on there, but it only. Oh no, I do see something that I follow and I don't have in my library. Okay, cool. Sweet.
So I've been curating that little by little. I mean, I just started. So it has a little pull down bar right next to the items in there. And you could say, I want to see less of this game, or you could say, I want to see more of this game. And so, yeah, I've been doing that because I look at my library a lot.
Yeah, if I put the effort into it, I could probably make that useful. But right now, it's filled with stuff that I just tune out.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a little curating. Let's see. This means Warp. I also picked up. Bobby, did you play the demo, or did you buy the game?
We played the demo on this, didn't we?
Oh,
Did
is
we
it-
play the demo? This was the
Yeah.
one I was in opposition to Amanda and Sniper here. I think they liked it more than I. Wait, yeah, this is the one we played with Captain Gummy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And I
the
was
one.
really high. Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing like a faster than light. Okay, it might have been a demo because there was not a lot of content.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that the demo had a multiplayer in it. Like a lot of times, it's just like it's just something so you could see how the mechanics work. But you were able to get a 4-player game going in demo. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it must have been the demo because the game I'm thinking of it has space in the title.
Well, I own this game now, which is a little FTL, right? But it's not. You can't pause time because it's multiplayer. So you're running around taking care of things that are going around in the spaceship during spaceship battles. I'm seeing asteroids here. I can't really speak to it too much. I mean, when we first saw it, we were like, "Oh, this is FTL for multiplayer," but I don't think that really. It's more of a. What's a game where you're like running around putting out fires, Bobby? Kind of like
It was like the cooking one.
yeah,
Overcooked.
yeah, overcooked.
Yeah, it felt a lot more like that.
Which is not bad in my book. I don't think.
Yeah.
Christian, is this something that you would pick up and play with me, please?
Yeah. I had a lot of fun playing with Bobby and Gummy from what I remember.
You're also high, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, what do you
yeah.
got?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good game. I thought it just needed more content, and the people I was playing with started role playing, and I'm not into that. So,
We didn't role play.
oh, dude, there was some RP going on.
What you call singing RP? We were just
You guys were getting a little too into it.
Okay, whatever.
Let me translate what Bobby just said. The demo did not have enough content in it, and my co-workers or my co-gamers were having too much fun.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so big announcement that happened, I believe, on New Year's Day was Payday 3. Now, we all knew this game was going to come out eventually. I think Starbreeze announced it like back in, 2017 or something, but we've been waiting forever for this game. And it has a release date of 2023, but there are no details on this game. They're keeping it very close to the chest. I absolutely loved the Payday games. It's kind of a tragedy what happened with the second one, and I can't remember the whole story, but I think something happened with the publisher and just the DLC got out of hand and it just ruined the game. It watered it down to the point where it just wasn't fun anymore. And a lot of people stopped playing it, but it was a great concept and a really good execution. If for some weird reason you don't know what Payday is, it's a co-op game, which you know I love, where you play.
Unless people are having fun.
Yeah. Unless there's fun being had, then I'm out. But it's a heist game where you and 3 other players are trying to do. A lot of them are bank robbery heists. Some of them, there's like a jewelry store one. There's one with like a drug lab. Like there's lots of different ones. But you have to complete objectives. You have to fend off the cops, and then the SWAT comes in, and there's varying levels of difficulty. You build your talents into like certain directions, so you can be like either stealth, or you can just be like a heavy gunner, or you drill faster, all these different things. It was a great game. I loved Payday 1 and 2. The big difference, well, the only thing that we really know is that it's now going to be on the Unreal 4 engine. The original games, I think, were on an engine called Valhalla, which I'm not familiar with, but these are switching engines, and the graphics look, at least the promotional material that they have out now, looks really good. Of course,
4, not 5?
Yeah, they said 4, which a lot of games still are using. But the graphics, of course, they doctored these up to make them look a lot more presentable in the screenshots and everything. And it's really just a teaser trailer that's out. There's no video, but it does look good. It looks promising. It's Payday. They have talked in the past, I believe, about how they... I really wish I knew more about this, but I couldn't find the information when I was looking for it. I feel like the Starbreeze has kind of regained control of it, and they are going to make something more of what the fans want, as opposed to the cash grab DLC mania that plagued the last one.
I do remember that, right? Wasn't it? You kind of alluded to it. I think the publisher was pushing for more of. They wanted more of a pay to win structure or something.
Yeah.
Or at least.
It
looks like this is a new publisher.
I would imagine so.
Prime Matter? Yeah, that doesn't look familiar.
This is a new developer too, unless...
Starbreeze Studio? No, they, I believe they made the last ones.
Well, it's not coming out,
Payday
though.
2.
That's odd. So,
Overkill, a Starbreeze Studio.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay, so it was like a branch of it. So yeah, there was something weird going on with either the developer and the publisher, or both of them. But yeah, man, I love these games. It's not a screensaver. What is it? A lock screen. I made like a custom wallpaper of Payday 2. It's probably on my Steam profile, in fact. Yeah, look at all those DLCs, dude. Just littered with DLCs. Like anything that came out. They had like a John Wick DLC when that movie came out and was real big in 2014. They had like one with some DJ, Alesso. Although that was a good level where you go in and it's like a nightclub thing. But they just had so much DLC, and like all these weapon packs. And they kept changing the talent trees. Like they would always switch them up, and then I had to like relearn the game like so many times.
Tijuana music pack? Come on, guys. The fuck?
But yeah, if you look on my Steam page, I've got a Payday 2 wallpaper, and we used to have a Payday mask hanging in here that you bought in Mexico.
I just recently gave it away. But those masks are iconic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did such a good job. Nailed it with those.
Mm-hmm.
The way I found out about this is on my newsfeed, a ticker at the top of my library. Payday 2 had its first like announcement in fucking I don't know how many years, and said announcing Payday 3, and I clicked on it and I got this.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So it's serving some good.
It is. Bobby bought me Bravery and Greed. I played the demo of this during Next Fest, I believe. I like this game. It is, which is why I put it on my wish list. It throws everything at the kitchen. Everything and the kitchen sink at the wall. No, throw everything at the wall and saw what stuck, and most of it stuck for me. So there's a ton of characters. Your classic wizard, rogue, warrior, paladin, all kinds of stuff. Archer, and it's a hack and slash side scroller, and there's a ton of different methods you can play it. So it's 4-player co-op. There's like just go out and grab cash. There's a campaign. There's like versus, not versus like fighting each other, but seeing who can get the most money. It's all about getting loot. The big The only complaint I've seen about it is that it's too grindy. You don't get enough gold on each run. But I think the idea is to, unlock a bunch of different characters. I remember when I was playing as the wizard, I thought it was so fleshed out that the wizard could have held a game alone. Just the wizard. Like, he could have had, a wizard adventure game. That's how fleshed out that one was. I played a couple more, and they weren't as good, but they were definitely good. And then I saw that there was more and more. There's like, I don't know how many characters. So there's just a lot going on here, and I'll be able to report more later on. And I would say, John is my multiplayer buddy, but we've been playing something, and I think we're going to be playing it for a while. More on that later. And the last thing, I saw this right before I came in here. I think Pyronical posted it on Discord. Isaac Survivors is a mod for Binding of Isaac in the Steam mod store. What is it called? What is the mod thing called?
The Steam Workshop.
Steam Workshop. Thank you. And basically, it turns it into a Vampire Survivors game. So it took Binding of Isaac, and it puts you in one big room where you get continuously attacked, and you pick an upgrade after every wave, I believe. I'm going to try this out. Why not? Like, a lot of the ideas for Vampire Survivor probably came out of Binding of Isaac, so why not? Yeah, why not let the original try it out? So yeah, I'm going to try it out. See what's up.
Isaac Survivors. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, when you were talking about Bravery and Greed and the wizard being like a really well-developed character, but the others not so much, and it reminded me of Gauntlet, the remake that they made, like, I don't know, a decade ago or a little less, and the wizard was definitely the most fun in that game. It was the most complicated character, but it really felt like you were doing something. And then the warrior was just like, why is this guy even here? Like, it was so bad. It was terrible. The other ones, the dwarf or the hunter, and I can't remember what the other one was. Like, those were like all right, but God, yeah, that was just such a weird game. That was so disappointing.
Melee characters a lot of the time get the short end of their proverbial sticks, I guess.
Yeah, tough to balance. I mean, in WoW, you just give them a charge. There you go.
Well, it's even if they have a charge, it's just less interesting. You can do so much more with a ranged character. You know, they have to have mobility because they have to get away, and there's just so much. And then a lot of times the melee is just like get in, get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got some games to talk about here. Looks like you've got more than me again, so I'll let you start.
Guys, I played a lot. I had 2 weeks off. I had so much fucking time to play. Did I miss something there, Chris? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, like you were reacting like something happened. So Heavenly Bodies is a fumble core game. It's a 2-player co-op, and it's perfect for Steam couch share. I can't remember.
Steam Couch.
What is it called?
Family sharing?
No. When you're both playing, and
remote play.
Remote play. Thank you. I cannot. Steam has too many things, and I can't. I don't know, and I love them all. That's the worst. So John and I played it like that, so he wouldn't have to buy it, and nothing in this game is happening super fast, so you don't have to. You don't have to react or anything. So if there's a little bit of lag, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it's a fumble core game where you play as 2 cosmonauts, Russian cosmonauts, and you have little missions that you're supposed to do. Move the satellite, extend the solar panels, do a little bit of mining, and because it's fumble core, it's all hilarious. Like, I think I find these games always more fun than other people because I was crying laughing, and John was just like getting frustrated. You know, he's just like, "Well, this game would be." At the end, I was like, "What'd you think?" And he's like, "Well, if the controls were a little better." I was like, "That's not the point. Is that the controls are all fucked up, man? You know." And it's funny because you can make them even harder. So I saw an option when you start the game, and it says, "Do you want like real physics?" And in real physics, you can't swim in space, which means if you're nowhere near a wall, you're just fucked until your buddy comes and gets you. Because we played it with normal difficulty, and several times we were adrift, like this character is doing now, and you just go off, and you start to panic because it does this thing where like your radio, the sound changes, like you can tell you're going to be gone completely. And it's not very easy to swim, but you have to swim or you're going to die. So you figure out how to swim and then you come back. But yeah, you can take away that whole thing. I believe it's pretty cheap. I want to say $12 to $15. I don't remember. But I
20.
20. I had a great time with it, or am having a great time with it. I would play this with anybody. I think.
I don't know. I feel like Fumblecore peaked with Octodad, and then ever since that, I haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, but the good thing about Fumblecore is, like, I mean, Octodad is 4 players, and each
Well, it
person
can be.
Huh?
It can be. It doesn't have to be.
It's one of the only, but you're all controlling one character. I don't think that's ever been done before. But yeah, great time with this. I also play Tiny Rogues, which is another game Amanda bought me. It's kind of like it's a roguelike dungeon crawler that's very retro looking, almost too retro. At the very beginning, I was looking at it, and it has this like filter on it. See the filter to make it look like you're playing on a CRT monitor?
Mm-hmm.
And
with the scan lines.
Yeah, scan lines. And I was like, please have an option to turn this off. And so I go to the options, and it didn't have it.
Well, most games do.
Yeah, I know. And it didn't have it, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to. And then I start playing it, and, about an hour later, I don't see the lines anymore, and I'm really into I was shocked how much I like this game. It's one of those things where every time you level up, you have 3 options. And then every time you finish a floor, there's 2 doors, and the doors have what's in that door above them, so you can kind of like choose your own path a little bit. There's a bunch of different characters. Each one of them plays differently. The bosses are very fun. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's just really good. The weapons aren't traditionally like a fantasy. Everything else is, your wizardy rogues and stuff. But like, I got a laser cannon. I got a grenade launcher, stuff like that. So it's not very traditional. It goes all over the place. And I've made some builds that you feel like you broke the game. And I went all the way through the game. I think it's going to be like Binding of Isaac, where the goalpost gets moved after I beat the game a certain amount of times or with a certain amount of characters. But yeah, that feeling of breaking the game or having something that you feel is broken, but you earned it because you built it, it's always a satisfying feeling. Kind of like in Monster Train. I always feel like I broke the game in Monster Train if you get a very good combo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so highly recommend it. And I think it's a cheap one, isn't it?
7 Canadian. What's that?
Yeah, so
okay.
$5?
$6.
$6? Yeah. I definitely recommend it if you're into any of these type things.
Yeah, very good reviews. Still in early access.
Overwhelmingly positive, 2,000 reviews. Go ahead, Bobby. Talk about your piddly game you played.
Yeah, so you bought me Immortality, one of the games that was on my wish list. Now, this game had come out, but it was still on my wish list because I did absolutely want to play this game. This is the new, very narrative-heavy game from Sam Barlow, creator of Her Story and Telling Lies. So if you've played those games, you know what to expect with this one. And this game was pretty much everything I wanted it to be. Which is kind of like the culmination of everything that he's learned from the past 2 games, but put into a much bigger project. So those games, if you haven't played them, Her Story and Telling Lies, they are found footage games or FMVs, and you have to search databases to find clues, find videos, and kind of put together a story to figure out what happened. Now, the key difference here between those games and this one is in both Telling Lies and Her Story, you actually had to type in keywords. So you would watch a video clip and the character would mention a name and you'd type in that name, or they'd mention like, oh, I went to this bar, I had this object, and you type in that keyword, and then you would, it would come up with other results like this video also has that word in it. So you would play detective and you would uncover the story in a non-linear fashion. It was a really genius way to make a game and to incorporate story into it. And you can definitely tell that the budgets have gotten bigger here. So in Her Story, it's just one woman. It's like those videos they take when they interrogate somebody at the station, and it's just a woman in a room and she's explaining what happened, and you uncover and eventually realize what really did happen. And it's really cool once you realize that twist or that turn there. I won't spoil it, but
did you use the same actress?
No, different actors. So that was just one woman, and it got a lot of credit at the Game Awards. It was a really popular game. Everybody loved it. Then Telling Lies came out, I think 2018, 2019, right around there. And that was a bigger project, had more actors in it, but it was still actors sitting in front of webcams. So it was the captured recordings of these 4 characters' webcams. So it was still basically actors talking to cameras, having conversations with other people. And that was cool because you see 2 different sides of the story and you have to kind of match them up. So there's another layer of complexity there. But this takes it to an entirely new level here. This is, the story is you're trying to figure out what happened with this actor. She was in 3 movies that were never released, one in 1968, one in 1970, I think, and the other in 1999. And for some mysterious reason, something happened on set and these movies were never released. And you have access to a lot of the footage, like the scenes that were filmed. Not only that, you have access to like table reads, to behind the scenes documentary footage, to interviews with the cast, and to like when they appear on talk shows and stuff, like that kind of footage. So it's not just people sitting in front of a camera and talking to the camera or having a conversation. It's actually like movie scenes that you're watching and like old found footage. So it gives them a lot more freedom to do like make this a lot more interesting visually, just with like stuff going on.
Hats off to Sam, dude. Not only are games hard to make, movies are hard to make.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll do it both.
Yeah. And he's doing both. And careful detail, like I really give him credit because careful detail was given to how to make the movies look like they were of that time. So I can definitely tell, like the one from 68, it's a 4:3 aspect ratio. It's shot on like, I don't know. I tried to look up what camera, but it looks like, 16 millimeter, 24 mil. I don't know. It's definitely like an old camera. It's got that film grain to it. Same thing with the 1971. And then also the 99 one just has that look.
They look appropriate.
Film look
100%.
to it.
Yeah.
Like that camcorder look almost. That was really popular back then. But not only that, like it's not just the camera that you have to pay attention to. It's the hair and makeup, the set dressing, the wardrobe, like all that stuff. And you have to really put in a lot of effort to make sure that everything matches up. And the combination of like the way that the combination of the camera and like the wardrobe and the set dressing, I mean, it nails it. It really looks like something of that time, and that's very hard to do. Now, I actually interviewed Sam Barlow, I think in 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, shortly after Telling Lies had come out, and he talked a bit about this project, but he couldn't say too much about it. I think at the time, the only thing he was saying about it was that it was going to be in the horror genre. And there is, I don't want to spoil too much here, but there is kind of a supernatural thing going on. It seems that's kind of what I'm getting. I feel like I'm about halfway through the game or getting close to the end. I'm going to finish it up this week because I got to know the whole story here. But I'm really enjoying it. It's just, it's stories nested within stories, which gets really complicated, but it's really, really smart. So you have 3 different movies, and those movies, God, this gets confusing. So you're watching these clips, and when they shoot a movie, they shoot it out of order. They don't shoot it like first scene first and last scene last. So when you're watching these things and you see the clapboard and it says this one was shot October 18th, 1968, like, okay, that may be like the first scene in the movie, but then a clip that you watch from a later date maybe somewhere else in the movie, like you have no idea where. So you're watching not only the story that you're trying to figure out, like the overarching story of what happened with this actor. You're not only watching that out of order, you're watching the movies out of order as well. So you're in your head trying to put everything together chronologically, both the movie, because I'm kind of interested in the movies too.
I was going to say, does the story in the movies really matter?
They kind of do. I feel like there's something. So the first movie in 1968, it totally reminds me of this movie called Benedetta that came out recently. It's a Paul Verhoeven movie. He quit making movies in Hollywood.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's still making movies?
Not in Hollywood.
Right.
He makes European movies mainly in French. And he made this really good one a couple years ago, maybe less, called Benedetta, about this famous like monk that supposedly saw like she had the stigmata and everything, and like she was blessed by Christ, but then like there's a lot of evidence that she was totally faking the entire thing. And then of course there was this whole story about how she had a lesbian relationship with another nun, and he did a great job with this movie. I love it. But
welcome back to the movies on the DL.
Yeah, well, I mean, with this game it's hard not to talk movies, but the first movie called Ambrosio is a lot. It reminds me a lot of this Benedetta movie, where it takes place in like this monastery with these monks, and there's a lot of temptation and sin involved and everything like that. And the devil makes an appearance. And then
there's titties. We gotta get those titties off the screen.
Oh
man.
yeah, there's some. I mean, it is a Verhoeven French movie, so yes, there's going to be some nudity. But I want to know what happens in the movies. Like, I want to see just like the movies put together, just so I can get the full story, as well as like the overarching like story of the game. God,
how far along do you think you are?
I am. I said earlier, I think I'm like halfway, or maybe a little bit more than halfway through it. But what's really cool too is, as I was doing a little research on this game, trying to figure out like what kind of cameras he shot on, I also looked at the actors, because there are a lot of actors in here and they do a really good job, particularly the lead, which her name is, I don't know how to say it in English. I mean, in French it's Manon. I guess in English it'd just be Manon, or maybe you say it the same way.
My first girlfriend's name, Manon.
Oh, it was. And you say it the same way in English, Manon?
She was French, so we said Manon.
Okay. Yeah. I always know that name because there's a very famous French movie called Manon de Sauce.
Bring it up if it has titties, please.
But I realized she's playing multiple characters here. So she's playing the character in the game, then she's playing the character
outside the movies.
Yeah, well,
in the movies.
She's playing the character in each of the movies. So in each of the movies, she's playing a character playing a character.
Yeah.
And then in the last movie, it's like a double identity movie. So she's playing 2 characters there. And she sings, she dances, she has to do like, there's just like a wide variety of things that she had to do in this role for this video game. And I was just really impressed. She did a fantastic job. And the actors, like, they really looked the part too. Like everything just came together really well. It's a extremely well done and well shot game. So yeah, hats off to that. This is everything that I was hoping it would be. What's really cool, the last thing I want to bring up here, I know I've been going off on this game forever, but the last thing I want to bring up is when I was doing a little background research, trying to find out has she done anything else, because in Telling Lies, there was the kid from Bird Box in there. I think it was Bird Box. And the kid had been in something else too, like this child actor who was had a lot of good roles. She was in that game, and then there were some other actors in there that were, semi-famous, like pretty well known. This cast, I didn't really recognize anyone, but I felt they did an amazing job. So I was kind of looking into their background. The lead actress hadn't really done anything before, but she's got like a Twitch channel, a YouTube channel. She's on Twitter and everything. I looked on her YouTube channel, and there is a video of her and one of the other actors in this game doing a Let's Play of this game of Immortality.
Oh, okay.
And it was really cool because it was like a DVD commentary.
Now she's a girl playing a girl, trying to act like a girl playing another girl.
Yeah, just total actorception here. But it was really cool because it was like a DVD commentary where they were talking about the scenes. So like, oh, in this one, it was really cool because this and this and that, and like giving you some behind the scenes look.
Now, did you cut that off until you're going to go back to that after you beat it?
Yeah, I can't watch it all now because even as I started watching the Let's Play, he's discovering the story. The actor and her are. The two actors are discovering the story
in a different sequence that you did, right?
Yeah, so I started seeing scenes that I hadn't seen yet. Right. So I was like, all right, I got to hold off on this and I'll come back to it. But it's like an hour and a half long playthrough, and it's not the entire game, but it's going to be really good once I finish the game and I can check that out and kind of get a little more behind the scenes and insight into this.
I wonder if you finish the game and then you go watch that and then you'll still see things that you hadn't seen. I suppose that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, there could be things because it's a lot of video. Any way you go about it, it's just a lot of content. So there's probably going to be things that you don't pick up on, like little bits of dialogue or things in the screen or in the shot. Oh, it's saying about a 6.5 hours total length to beat. So yeah, I'm a little over halfway through.
But there's 16.5 hours of content if you deep dive.
So see all the aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you could spend a lot longer in there.
I hope. I mean, this seemed very expensive. I hope that they're making some of their money back. I'm thinking that Steam is not their primary source of. I hope not, because it only has like 900 reviews. I don't know how many.
They are on Xbox. I don't know about PC Game Pass, but they are available on Xbox, Android, I think the Mac App Store. Like if you look at it, like the landing page for this game, it'll tell you everywhere that it's available, and it's not just Steam.
I just hope I hope the juice was worth the squeeze, and he continues to do big budget stuff. Because like if you spent all this money. Yeah, I actually got awards. I saw it did okay at the Game Awards and stuff. You just hope that attention doesn't always equate dollar bills.
Yeah, so. And as far as like just going off of Steam reviews, watch out for this Wikipedia page. That's the whole plot right there. I got to avert my eyes. But
you son of a bitch, Chris.
Spoiler.
But yeah, I do hope that it's successful, but it really seems like her story was the biggest success. And that one was probably the lowest budget one. And it kind of came out of nowhere and took everybody by surprise. And if we bring up the Steam page for her story, can we see how many reviews? And sometimes that gives us an idea of, there it is, an idea of like, how many people had picked it up. So this came out in 2015.
So it's usually times 10 the amount of reviews is what you normally use to guesstimate sales.
Okay. It's so nice having you around, Chris.
That's very interesting. So you take the all reviews and you times it by 10, and that's
4 to 10 depending on the genre.
Only
so
10%
it can vary obviously hugely, but
yeah, but only 10% of people leave reviews. Interesting. So we can say this. We can estimate 63,000 copies of this game.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this one might have been the biggest success, which is unfortunate because it's definitely not the best one. I mean, there were some complaints about telling lies. I can't remember exactly what it was, but about the way that you scroll back and forth through the video. It was... there was something, and I did notice this. It was kind of annoying because it made you it forced you to watch like the entire thing, even if you wanted to see just like one part. There was something weird about the controls. With Immortality, it tries to replicate a moviola which is this old machine for going through footage. And you can fast forward at different speeds, so you can kind of zip through it and go through the footage pretty quickly and get to what you need. But yeah, man, hopefully more people pick up this game because it is well worth it, and it is really, really good. I really
Bobby,
enjoy this.
I have a question. So me and Rianne are looking for another game to play together. You know, now that she has 400 hours in Hades and I have 120, it's just not cutting it anymore. And we kind of do want something to relax. And do you think this is the type of game you could do that with? Like, is there any, like, could we debate our options as we go through the footage? Is it like multiple choice kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, so it's a lot of sitting and watching. And I kind of stopped halfway through a point I was trying to make. So the old games, you type in keywords. So somebody says something, or they talk about a character or a thing, and you search for that keyword. In Immortality, it uses visuals. So in film, they got this thing called a match cut, and it can be visual or like a motion type thing. And if you've seen it 1,000 times, you can go on YouTube and just look up like match cut examples. Raiders of the Lost Ark, like it starts with the Paramount logo, and that match cuts into this big mountain, and then like that's the establishing shot for the scene you're about to see. So in this, you pair things with match cuts. If you see a candle in a scene, then you pause it, you click on the candle, and then it'll jump to another scene, and maybe in one of the different movies that she did, or in some other footage, like whatever, that had a candle in it as well. So you're constantly scanning for objects, for people, faces.
Makes it nice on mobile, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. And I at first I was like, I kind of missed the like searching for the keywords because I feel like I'm using my brain more. But then as I got further into the game, I really started to enjoy that a lot more because I started actively looking in the scene and seeing like, okay, oh, there's a mask in that scene. There's a microphone in this scene. Like there's an earring that they like zoom in on that may have some importance. So I click on that. And so it's more visual. Now, if you want to play this with Rianne, I mean, yeah, I think it'd be great, but it is a lot of like sitting and watching, and it's an interactive story. Like you're going to slowly get fed the story little by little, and like there's going to be reveals, and you're going to figure things out, and like there's room for discussion. But I don't know if like, yeah, I guess you could debate on like, oh, what should we click on next, or what in this scene caught your eye. You know, like there was one scene where she kept holding up this apple, and I'm like, there's some significance with the apple, you know? So I clicked on that, and then I kind of went down this whole rabbit hole of like all these scenes that had like apples in them. So I feel like there's some like subtext there or something. I don't know. There's a lot going on in this, but
yeah, because it's only, I honestly, when this game was announced on the game, not announced, but you know, revered on the Game Awards, I thought it would be more expensive, but for $22, I feel like, yeah, that seems like an awesome time. 16 hours worth of going through video and playing with someone else. Maybe I'll try it out and I'll
yeah,
see
and
how
you know,
it goes.
Pyronical in chat brings up something interesting. So when I saw like some of the promotion for this, they kept on saying Netflix games on Netflix games, and I'm like, what are Netflix games? Like I vaguely remember that, but Pyronical's saying that if you have Netflix, you can get this game for free.
Well, I
You should fact check that. I don't know.
I find it interesting that
That's what Nick said. He told me. He said this game is free on Netflix.
I don't think in Netflix's UI you can click on things like there's no free cursor, so I don't know how you would click on something inside of a scene.
Yeah,
there are games. There's a few games, but
Android and iOS via Netflix. So mobile Netflix, not when you're watching it on a
I
TV,
see.
maybe?
Maybe, yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
there are games on Netflix, but they're multiple choice. There's the Black Mirror.
Yeah, Black
one?
Mirror. Yeah, I've done I've done one or two of those on Netflix where it has like the options that you make.
Right,
you
but
choose.
it's never anything inside the shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Yeah, good. Fucking, it's awesome. You should try. Now he's highfalutin, dude, but you should try to talk to Sam again.
It was hard enough to get that first interview.
Still, that gives you more credibility for the second.
Yeah, maybe.
I think.
I don't know if we did interviews again.
Next up, I have a shotgun guy where you shoot zombies in the head. Shotgun guy. That's it. I just feel my guns are so much dumber than your games, dude. No, there's no shotgun guy. So I alluded to this earlier. John and I have been playing Elden Ring together, co-op. So we modded it. We used it a mod because this is a lot like all the other Souls games, where co-op is tricky. It's not real co-op. It's people invade your game, and when they do, they could either attack you or help you. It's part of the fun, I guess. But I've actually never played a game like that. But there is a mod for this where you can keep the game completely permanent for yourself. If you play it normally, the co-op is only for the area, and as soon as you walk out of the area, it kills the co-op. So essentially, if you start fighting a guy and he's too powerful for you in your own game, you can run to the finish line or out of the area, and it'll end the session, the multiplayer session. So with this mod, we're multiplayer all the time. And he has played, I think he said he played halfway through. So he knows all kinds of stuff. And so he's like, let's go over here and go over there. So there's a lot of me just like following him around. And then when we get there, you can pretty much tell it was never set up for 2-player co-op. We're very early in the game. And, one of us distracts the character. It's very realistic. I'll give it that for sure. One of us distracts them for long enough to like get a little bit of aggro, and the other person goes up and backstabs them and does massive damage with the backstab. And so, I am not getting the Souls-like experience because he's doing a lot of the actual damage and stuff, and I'm just trying to sneak in there and get him with the dagger while I can. But I am starting to really appreciate the world. It's weird because it's fantasy, but I guess it's more of an Asian version of like a fantasy world, and it's just strange. Everything's very, very strange. But the crazy shit happens constantly, and it's almost like how you feel in a Zelda game, especially the newer ones where you go through that first door and you see how big the world is. It's kind of like that, but it's like a dark, dark version of it. Where there's death and decay everywhere, and the character design's very far out there. The horse riding's really fun. It's a horse with double jump, which I've never had in any game ever. It's actually really satisfying and fun. I don't know what more to say. We've played a few times, like raiding a bandit camp and like taking everybody out. It's really fun. You decide. It's up to you to set your own goals, basically, and then you accomplish those goals, and hopefully you're strong enough to set more lofty goals. But there is zero hand holding. Like, I'm like, what is this thing? He's you have to Google it. So it's still down. Nothing makes sense. Items are named things. Who knows what they do? Like, I don't know. You just have to go and do research and figure out what everything does. It's like the internet's working together to figure all this shit out.
It's like a crowdsource effort to beat this game.
Pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's all cryptic. That's still the biggest part that turned me off. But now I got John to just kind of walk me through at least half of it. So that's pretty nice. I am enjoying it enough to maybe start my own playthrough. I've been thinking about it. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't have infinite time. Most people that start this do not even come close to finishing it. I don't know anybody that's finished it, I don't think. It's very hard.
Nick finished it, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't think he did.
Wasn't he just talking last week about how he loves this game? He finishes it and he just wants to play it all over
Oh,
again.
you're right. You're right. Yeah. So there we go. There's one. And then Little Nightmares 2. I finished it with Mila. I bought it originally on Halloween so we could play something spoopy. And we got about halfway through on the first couple days, and then we just never played it for a while. And then we were all just kind of sit around and said, "Hey, do you want to play this?" She said, "Yeah," and we finished it. During COVID times. And it's an incredible game. 10 out of 10 everybody should play this, especially with your, 10-year-old. Maybe might have been a little bit young, but yeah, that's about right, I guess. It's spooky, but there's no blood really. There's anything that you're killing are kind of like puppets and are, I don't know. Luna sat on my lap a lot of the time too, but she's too young to really know what's being implied. Yeah, just masterfully crafted. It's a great fucking game. It's so good. Oh, and earlier, Nick, not Nick, Chris, I think you should play Immortality and then have a little bit of Heavenly Bodies to break up them, like when it gets too heavy or whatever. I think you'll have a lot of fun with Heavenly Bodies.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looked awesome.
Yeah. So.
All right. That's all the games. And we have a plug. The plug is, earlier you said, Bobby say, and it is true. It is sad but true. 4 to 10% of you out there, statistically, will leave reviews. And if you've heard about a game on this podcast and you get it, why don't you leave a review, support the developer, and just say where you got it from? You can do that. Hashtag DLG bump. I don't know if this helps us. I don't know. Just do it. Do it if you do it, okay?
I have not done it. I kept saying it's such a good idea, and I haven't done it. Bobby, have you done it?
No. If you look on my Steam profile, like I have 3 reviews, and it's pretty obvious that I put way too much effort into them. I have a hard time just leaving like random reviews, just...
A little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I know, but that's just not the way I operate. I'm 110% or 0. Okay, before we get to the listener questions, quick shout out to Smajeff, 33 months with a subscription. Says, Happy New Year, you filthy animals.
Thanks, man.
Right back at you, dude. Thank you. We appreciate it. And also gifting 1 sub is Voxamagak. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Or maybe you've been lurking. We don't know. All right, we've got a lot of listener questions here.
Where were you on the New Year's episode? Or the one right before the New Year's episode? We had like 1 question.
Yeah, well, we didn't do any listener questions last week because we had kind of a big show. Check that out if you missed it. But starting us off is Warconius. Favorite weird fact of the year? Something you learned this year that tickled your fancy.
Anybody got one? I read this earlier, and I've been thinking, and I was like, I already know everything. I didn't learn anything.
I learned a lot, but I don't know if there's any like weird facts that I learned.
I learned something like just in my specific situation. I went on for New Year's. We went out, me and Rianne, to a nice restaurant. Got the expensive meats, and we started knocking back cocktails, having a great time talking. And then she said, "Yeah, it was like when I asked you out. Like none of this would have happened." And I was like, "What? I asked you out?" And I had completely forgotten that she had asked me out at the start of the new year, but 5 years later. So that is my, I don't know if it's weird, but it's my favorite fact that I found out.
Wow. That was only 5 years ago, man. Imagine what you'll forget in another 5 years.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, Warconius also asks, favorite comment on a DLG podcast of the year, whether it was witty, hilarious, or dumb, the comment you liked the most of the year.
Well, most things from King Tehran is pretty fucking funny. He's a person that we don't know who any of you guys are, but he was the only person watching our YouTube videos and leaving a comment and just, I don't know, being really creepy with Christian.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of comments on YouTube, and even less on the posts on our website, but every now and then somebody will comment on the website. And then, every now and then someone will leave us a YouTube comment.
I guess they're all doing 110% or nothing, probably.
Yeah, or they're listening to it elsewhere. Okay, next question from Afro Dragon. Hey, Emilio, could you share more construction stories? I'm in the industry here in Toronto, Canada.
Just recently, I don't know if... Oh, I talked about it on the Discord. Just recently, I was complaining to a few people that a lot of the times I was in charge of the entire stadium, especially after hours, everybody would go home. It was just me, and so whatever I had to do, I was just kind of running the joint, make sure everything's good. And one of these, you're there for 2 years, and then one day they shut the doors, and you have to pay them for you to come in. They've been paying you this whole time, and then one day the script is flipped. Now that it's nice, you can't come in, right? So it's very strange, and I always thought it was weird. And then this year, in the first project, this has happened to me. There's a short list of, I don't know, like 45 names that can go in for free forever, and we got it was like a lanyard, and then our names in the system. There's not a chair for us, but it's like there's a lot of standing area in the stadium. So I have to go get the details. I don't know if it's only for football games or if it's for all venues. It'd be fucking awesome if it was, because there's going to be some big concerts and stuff there.
This is at Snapdragon Stadium?
Snapdragon Stadium. So I thought that was awesome. As far as the construction, a dude died last week. Right when I got sick. I don't miss days. I rarely late, anything like that. Sam got sick. She's like, I don't have anybody to take care of the kids. I got COVID. I was like, okay, guys, I got to go home because I'm the late shift guy. That's my preferred shift. I just stay late. The one day I go home early, a fucking guy's dead in the fucking porta potty, fucking overdosed. So what a way to go, by the way, on a construction site. Dirtiest place in the world to die. Don't die in a porta potty, guys. If you have any goals at all, just don't die in a porta potty.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
No, not at all.
You said someone died on a construction site. I was not going to guess overdose in the porta potty.
Yeah, there's a lot of drugs, man. Especially with the iron workers. Iron workers are the guys who deal with the rebar. They are the toughest guys on the site, and it's because they have the hardest job and they're super strong, and it's very backbreaking work. And I think they take a lot of painkillers to keep doing what they do. And some of them go higher than painkillers, and then some of them don't survive doing that. And then on the other side, you have people that their hours are so long, there's a lot of meth out there too. So this is how all your buildings are built, guys, by a lot of drugs.
Wonderful.
Yep. Yeah.
What a delightful anecdote.
Yeah.
All right.
There's your fun fact for the year.
Okay, Afro Dragon also says, tell a story about a person that surprised you when you found out they were a gamer. One of my neighbors was a fitness bodybuilder dude. When he saw my gaming PC in my unit, he lost his shit and asked me to help him build a gaming PC so he could play Truck Simulator.
Well, I would say probably each other, right? Bobby, that's one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean that, because we didn't meet online or playing video games.
We met.
Yeah, we met in a completely different environment.
Completely different environment.
Yeah. And that used to be more of a rarity back in the day when we met in 07?
Yeah.
Around then.
And we always say the same thing. It's you find somebody else is a gamer, air quotes, and then you go yeah, but what kind of gamer?
Yeah. Well, especially now because everything's so niche. So it's just what kind of games do you play? And it's just dude, you don't even know. What I'm going to tell you, dude.
It's
you haven't heard of Bravery and Greed. You haven't heard of Immortality.
It's so tough, man. People are like, oh, what do you play? And I know they're just trying to shoot the shit with me.
Yeah,
they want me to say Call of Duty so that they could say that their uncle plays Call of Duty.
Fortnite.
Yeah, or whatever, Fortnite. And I go,
Minecraft.
I play a lot of indie stuff.
Yeah, that's what I say now too. I'm just indie stuff you've never heard of.
Yeah,
it's the easiest way to do it. One instance that always stands out to me is one time I was at a gas station, and this was probably in 06 or 05 maybe, and I was wearing a Jinx hoodie. So Jinx is this company that would make gamer gear, and this is back before anybody ever did this. And turns out they're actually just up in Poway, which is an area just north of San Diego. And I had this hoodie. You might have seen this before. It's got the little skull with the nerd glasses on it. That's their logo. And I'm wearing this hoodie at a gas station, and I'm going in to pay, and this younger guy behind the counter, he's just oh, that's a gaming thing, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then he starts going off about some random game. I think it was a MapleStory type game. And he's like, yeah, dude, you should check it out. And like, that just didn't happen back in the day, dude. Like that just did not, like the PC gamers were very far and few between, and they didn't go out much, and they definitely didn't advertise.
They're not, they exist, and there's a lot of them.
There are, especially now. I mean, like Henry Cavill plays PC games.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's a lot more commonplace now. I feel like there's a lot more gaming on computers because you can play a lot of these games on any type of computer or even mobile device. And, you know, of course, with Fortnite, that kind of blew up. But it just, I don't know. If you're old enough, you know, but like it was just way more of a rarity back then.
That's why I brought it up the other day, and nobody responded to me in our crew channel. I was like, our gear, instead of saying DLG, we should just like make it obvious that you're a PC gamer. So maybe you can strike up a conversation at a gas station with a stranger.
So this
I like to think out there that there's two people who met from this podcast that had like a sticker or something. That would be that'd be neat.
Cricket Soldier said a few people has come up to them about the DLG shirt, or that's happened to him. It's never happened to us. Some other people have said that it's happened, but yeah.
Well, this is interesting. So, Sniper, you pulled up the Jinx webpage, and it says on January 1st, 2023, the Jinx website officially closed its virtual doors.
End of an era, dude.
Wow. That is
so long, and
depressing.
thanks for the fish. I like that.
That's crazy, man. That means all my Jinx gear, and I still have quite a bit, man. I got a lot of shirts.
Has at least doubled in value.
Yeah. Dude.
Premium.
It's a rarity now.
It is.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, I was going to say Chi. So Chi, if you don't know, was our former caster. And we were... Were you there, Bobby, the night
I wasn't
that I met
there.
her?
No, that was you and Sam.
Me, Sam, and I think Chad, somebody else was there. And we're in a bar, and we're drinking and shooting shit with the bartender. And it's funny, I wasn't talking to her as much as Sam was. Sam was like kind of drunk that night, and she was like talking to, and then, you know, it's one of these things where I come back to the bathroom and she's like, hey, she is a streamer. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, okay, probably plays Call of Duty or whatever, you know, on a Xbox or something. And she goes, no, the way she was about it, you know, still is. She's like, no, I'm not so fucking filthy casual. You know, I'm a PC gamer. And I was like, oh. And she's so bubbly and nice and stuff. And then it just kept going and going. I was like, oh, we should interview for the podcast. And the rest is history. Yep.
All right. We've got another question from Tag Loro. It's a new year. Everyone's thinking about their goal for next year. What are some of your goals for the podcast in 2023? Anything exciting for us fans to look forward to?
I set some privately. I don't want to do them publicly because I've done it before, and I feel like I just give as much time as I have or as I want. But I do want to. Pyronical had a suggestion, and I was thinking about this for a while. There's like software that you can take a recording, and as long as you have different inputs, you can easily splice it up with footage. And that's how a lot of shorts are made on TikTok and like Instagram Reels and stuff. Just repurpose footage, and you record it through this app, and it's just drop and drag. It takes seconds. So I would like to experiment with that to get like some quick stuff out, and hopefully, you know, you guys have heard this before, but 10,000 downloads an episode. That's my goal. So maybe not so exciting, but we'll see.
Yeah. We do have suggestions open in a channel in Discord, and we are looking for some input. And I mean, it is a new year. We want a fresh look. We want to stay relevant. So, you know, we do have to kind of change things up. And there's been some good ideas. There's been a few more, and I haven't read the most recent ones, but I don't do a lot of social media, but I feel like we really do need to expand into like the TikTok world and like the short little videos and the clips and stuff, because that's really where a lot of people are checking things out. And it's amazing because YouTube has their own version of like TikTok or you know, with the short videos, and it's amazing how much time you can kill doing that. Like sometimes when I'm going to bed, I'll be like, I don't want to watch a long YouTube video, so I'll just start watching these shorts. And then next thing you know, it's like half an hour later, and I'm just like, dude, I just got it. Because it's always just like swipe to the next, swipe to the next. It's just like constantly giving you that like new new thing hit, you know?
I had to uninstall YouTube from my phone. Like it was so bad. I was like, "Oh, I'm learning so much," and then like an hour later, I haven't done anything like at work or like, yeah, go to
Yeah.
bed on time.
Now,
I had to complete. But do you guys ever like find a reel of a podcast and just be like, "We're funnier." like some of our content is much better than this.
I don't listen.
No.
Well,
I don't know, man. It's tough because I feel like the podcast game has changed so much since we started. Like everything, every comedian out there that was, or every actor that was super popular like 10 years ago has like their own podcast now, and they're all professionally produced and they're all really well done. And it's just like, it's way, the competition is a lot stiffer than it used to be. You know, it used to be just like, oh, podcast, you know, like anyone could start this up in their garage and like people would check it out. And now it's just, like it's become much more of a business, and it's, I don't know. We still kind of got that old school DIY punk rock thing going on here, where it's just two fools yapping in a. I was going to say a basement, but there's no basements in San Diego.
I had a blast on our New Year's episode, man. I liked all the bits and stuff. I'd like to do more bits and stuff. I've also thought about, this has been a constant, you know? And at work, I'm such a fucking hard worker. I work so much. You guys, you don't even know how much goes into fucking building shit. But I just need to put more work into this. It's like, I think about it and I'm like, I listened to a couple books. I listened to like some motivational books. I was like, what can I really? I already work maximum at work. There's no more I can do there. What can I do outside? It's like, oh yeah, my baby. It's been sitting here abused down in the basement for years. Let me go. Let me go touch it up.
All right. Next question from Pyronical. Do you religiously grab the free games off Epic, or do you not even bother?
Bobby does or did.
Yeah, still do. I always grab. I grab every single game. I'm on this like IRC chat channel that like has announcements of free games and stuff. So I always get notified, and it's really easy for me just to run over there and grab one. I think I may have missed one during the holidays when they were giving a free one every single day, but it was probably one I already had or had it on Steam. It wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, dude, my Epic Games library is ridiculous, dude. Like there's just so many games in there, and it baffles me that I didn't pay a dime. I never bought a game off of Epic. Everything that I have in there is all free. And there's some good stuff in there. And I actually play quite a few games. It does kind of dictate what I play sometimes, because I'm just like, dude, it's just sitting on Epic.
Yeah,
I feel like I should play it.
for sure. I didn't know that you played any of them. So
Oh yeah,
that's
I
good
mean,
to
just
know.
recently, Lego, not Brick Tales, Builder's Journey.
Yeah.
That was one I played on Epic. Maneater was on Epic. 3 out of 10 I played on Epic.
Cool. It's doing its job.
Yep. All right. Oh, another question from Zap. What are your gaming resolutions for this year? Do you want to try new games, maybe get all the achievements in 5 games, revisit some old favorites?
It seems to me that I'm starting to go towards. I mean, I've been talking about it, but going towards longer games, and instead of playing Binding of Isaac, where you're doing the same thing over and over, actually get through a story. And you know, it's been rewarding because I'm getting through these like pretty cool stories. Requiem ended up making me cry, like the first one did. Plague Tale, and you know, Little Nightmares. Out after I finished it, I was online trying to figure out what it all meant, and you know, it there's you start to when you're playing a lot of indie roguelikes and just indie games in general, the story a lot of time it's usually game and mechanic forward, and I've been game and mechanic forward for a long time that I almost forgot that stories are important. And so yeah, getting more into the whole thing, games that have everything to offer, not just a couple new bells and whistles. I want to go back very quickly to the free games. The only free game that I got off of Epic that I remember is Surviving Mars, and I've been seeing that Chris, you've been playing a bunch of that. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. This also fits nicely into my gaming goals for 2023. Yeah, I picked up Surviving Mars a long time ago, and like a lot of other games, a lot of other city builder games, I played for like 10 or 9 hours, and then I dropped it and never picked it up again. Um, and I noticed that that's like a pattern in my gaming style. So I went back and I think I put like 40 hours into it over 3 weeks, and I'm pretty sure I beat it. Like I unlocked as much as I could unlock, and I was having fun the whole time. Basically, you land on Mars, you have to generate funding. Eventually, you have Martians and Earth colonists, kind of as two separate groups that you have to manage. And the latest expansion, you completely terraform Mars into like a livable environment. It's really fun. There's a lot of mysteries. I got this mystery where like I dug too deep, ye old story, and these aliens came up, but they were these black cubes, and they started making this monument in the middle of my
Oh shit!
colony, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then some of my colonists, after they were finished their job, they would work again at the monument, like doing stuff, building bricks or
What a
inside.
trip!
And the black blocks started to take over my colony, and that's just one of the end stories or whatever. So you have a couple options, and eventually I use it as like some tourist trap, and me and the sentients have like a deal, like a certain amount of colonists can work there, and I won't try to like nuke it. But there's like I don't know how many stories, but there's so many achievements for different stories that they put in it. It's a really satisfying game. So yeah, in 2023, I just want to put more time into a less amount of games. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gaming goal for. I feel like this could be the year that I finally beat Doom 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to do that for almost 20 years. But it's like the Half-Life 2 situation where just my saves get lost and I have had to restart the game. I played the first half of Doom 3 times maybe.
That's what I'm saying. I bring it up. There must be save files that you can drag and drop into your folder, right?
Yeah, there are, but at this point I can't remember where I left
Yeah.
off. I got pretty far last time, and the reason I lost the save files in this case, I think, was because there was the Doom 3 Annihilation Edition, which isn't compatible with the original Doom
Oh
3.
yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
And then you should Fallen Order is worth playing, Bobby. Like finishing it.
yeah, I should. I'm so close to finishing that one too, and that's one where the save files got messed up because I played it off your account and accidentally deleted all the save files. But I did actually re-download those and got generally in the same area, and I could pick that back up. But it's been so long, it feels really weird jumping back into the game.
Yeah.
I might just start with the sequel that's coming out soon. Okay, Comfy Unicycle asks, have you ever come back to a game after so long that so much of it had changed? It seemed the only way to play again is to start over. Love the show. Keep it up. Kind of what I was just talking about there. I mean, the game hadn't really changed. It's just like I spent too much time away from it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games where I've talked about this before. The re-entry is very difficult.
Mhm.
I talked about this with the case of the Golden Idol, and there's a lot of other games similar to that where it's just like you build a momentum with the game, and if you don't keep that going, it's extremely difficult to get it back.
That happens with Metroidvanias a lot because sometimes you have to go get the missile launcher that destroys this shield, and then you come back after a few months and you get the missile launcher. Like, what did I need this for? Well, that one random door way in the fuck other side of the map, but you forgot that because you're not playing on, you're not right on top of it. Another one was Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal had such an interesting and unique play style where you had to kill things in a certain way to get ammo for this other thing, and then it was kind of like a rotation, and you get good at it and you get it going, and then you try to come back and you're just like you're like a monkey with
Yeah, that's like a
boxing
muscle
gloves
memory
on.
thing.
Yeah.
And some games have that problem too, where it's just the game trains you, and usually it's bit by bit. It's like an extended tutorial throughout the beginning of the game where they slowly introduce new mechanics, and then you kind of get that feel down. And that's how The Witcher is for me. Like I couldn't jump back into wherever I was with that game because I just don't know like all the buttons and how to switch through everything, and it would just be really clumsy.
And the beginning of that game's so slow too, so it's hard re-entry on both sides of that.
Yep. Comfy Unicycle also asks, did any of you play Age of Empires 4, and how does it match up versus the others in the series?
Yeah, I whooped Bobby's ass. Thank you for asking. No, actually, I forget how it went down. We played though, right?
Did we play Versus?
I remember you really liking it, Bobby, and then it
Yeah,
disappeared.
No, it was great. Age of Empires 4 was kind of a return to form for the Age of Empires series for me. I really didn't like 3. I remember when it came out and I played a little bit of it and was like, nope, this is not my Age of Empires. And then I recently went back to 3 like a year or two ago just to check it out again, and it wasn't as bad as I remember. And 4, I really liked. First of all, it's on Game Pass. Second of all, it reminded me a lot of Age of Empires 2. And what was the DLC to that, or like the expansion back in the day? They didn't have DLC. The one where
Eastern Empires or something?
No, I'd recognize it if I heard it. But Age of Empires 2 was like the quintessential Age of Empires game for me. And 4 felt a lot like that. And I really enjoyed Dynasties of
India. I was close.
Okay, I don't even remember that. The Age of Kings. Maybe I'm just thinking of the base game. But anyway, Age of Empires 4, I really liked it. I thought they kind of went back to basics with it, and I really enjoyed the cutscenes that were like watching the History Channel, basically. And they had a really good PvP system set up. Like, yeah, Age of Empires 4 was great, and I don't think enough people played that game, including me. I did kind of check it out, and it's like, this is awesome, and then I just moved on to something else, which unfortunately happens a lot. I played a lot of multiplayer in that too. Like I really kind of got into that. Sheer ponage. Oh, that's a question for Nick. We'll get to that next week. All right, last question. This is from Morconius. Darktide is a really great game. Nailed the atmosphere and gameplay. Do you think the progression is too slow? Seems a little grindy to me.
This is how I enjoy it so much. I don't even care. I'm not even playing for the progression. I'm playing it just to hang out with people, and then also to see all the content. And when I do level up, and then that's really cool. But I do want to get better, and I do want to play the higher levels. But honestly, 90% of what I played is level 2 difficulty, and it's just more about the hang, because I'm not playing with the same people, and you kind of want to warm up with the 2, and then but a 2 can vary pretty wildly. I mean,
I will say I can see where he comes from with it being too grindy. So first of all, Vermintide, like the first Vermintide, had a huge problem with this. It was I enjoyed the gameplay too, but the progression system was just terrible. They later fixed it, thank God. And then the second game came out, and they kind of fixed it even more, and you felt like you were making progress and getting new weapons. And then with Darktide, I feel like it's about the same as Vermintide 2. Like they've done a good job where it feels like every new time you're getting a new weapon or a new gun or slowly getting better. But I can definitely see the grindiness complaint because it does kind of blend together. Now, when we played on, I can't remember what difficulty it was. Was it 3?
3, yeah.
3, I was like, okay, this is the game that I want to play. Like, we were struggling. We actually didn't succeed, but we came close.
Yeah,
and
really
it was
close.
just like we all had things to do, and we had to actually use our brains. When you play on the lower difficulties and you're overgeared, you're just like smashing buttons and clearing everything out, and it can get really boring. This is the same thing I say about Killing Floor 2. Like, that game is incredibly boring if you're not playing on the right difficulty.
Yeah, I would love to play on 3, but like I said, like you don't know, you're playing with different people and you want to warm up, and then by the time you're done warming up, like my multiplayer gaming time is over.
They're long sessions too. The maps are very long.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I should just jump straight to 3. It's not as bad as I'm building it up to be worse than it is, but it's nice. That's where I probably should be playing all the time.
All right, folks, that's the show. What are you playing next week?
I want to finish Fallen Order. I don't know if I'm like within striking distance, like a week. That seems like I won't be able to do it. But and then kind of want to. I'm scared, but an Elden Ring solo mission would be fun. But yeah.
All right. I'm going to finish up Immortality, and I mean, I'm going to finish it up, and I'm going to come back here and say it's great, which you guys already know. So I'm going to try to play something else so I have something else to talk about. But definitely finishing off that game this week.
Cool. Speaking for Chris, Bobby, and myself, French YouTube titties. That might have been the first time we ever had nudity on the podcast.
No, it's not. There's been some slip-ups before. Age of Mythology, man. I like that game. That was... God. So Age of Empires 2 took forever to get through a game. And then I played Warcraft 3, and I'm like, these games are so fast and snappy and fun. And then Age of Mythology kind of adopted that, and they had like the gods that you could play, which were like the hero characters in Warcraft 3. I really liked Age of Mythology. I don't know if it was one of the more popular entries in the franchise.
Bye, everybody.
It's Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. That's the real.
Oh, God.
That was the popular one.